Yo guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've not done already, subscribe, like the video, okay, and drop a comment on below whilst you're watching the video on what points you thought you agree, maybe you disagree, etc. I like the interactions in the comments, okay, so if you guys can keep that up, because I think you guys have been doing it, that would be amazing. Bit of bad news today, guys. Yeah, my SSC19 positive. Yo, it's all mad in the dunya. Hopefully you guys are all safe, hopefully you guys are all well. Yeah, it's trying to make a speedy recovery, you know, the way there, but we move, we just have to crack on with our lives. It is what it is, okay? We're not out here doing Christmas parties and lunch meeting in the gardens like some people out there, but it is what it is. But without further ado, let me just touch upon some of the things that we're going to be talking about in this video. We're going to be talking about the Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul aftermath, the saga. Yeah, they have a little bit of exchanges on Twitter. Twitter's a mad place. Why do people negotiate on Twitter? Anyway, we're talking about that in a bit. We're also talking about the Virgil Ortiz versus McKinson. Okay, that fight got announced yesterday evening, so it's picking up today. McKinson, yo, this guy has a set of bollocks, okay? McKinson, big you up, okay? I'm also talking about Terry Harper moving up to lightweight. What does that mean for female boxing? Because, yeah, that means that, you know, Katie Taylor, Serrano, you know, you're on the watch list, okay? But without further ado, let's get cracking. Let's start off with Jake Paul and the Tommy Fury, you know, debacle. Jake Paul recently won against Tyron Woodley in the second fight by a good knockout, and I've run a poll on my Twitter, which is going to be out on my Instagram towards the back end of this week. So follow me on Instagram at Off the Canvas Boxing, okay, where I'll be doing a poll on the best fighter of the year, best female fighter, best, you know, etc. Best knockout of the year is amongst those, and one of the nominees for best knockout of the year is Jake Paul. So head over to my Instagram, look out for that poll. It will be on my story when it's out. Vote, because I'll be doing the OTC Awards of 2021. Okay, shortly afterwards, when all, you know, everything is all submitted. But with regards to the Jake Paul scenario, Jake Paul, after he won that fight by, you know, it was a good knockout, he was talking about maybe fighting the likes of a Nate Diaz or, you know, other UFC fighter, Masvidal, Kamaru Usman, etc. You know, because he just wants to just dismantle Dana White. I don't know whether he's, you know, what beef he's got with Dana, but he just wants to dismantle them. Is what it is. But moving swiftly on, he tweeted shortly afterwards that just asked my team if he heard from Fury's Frank Warren or Queensbury, not an effing peep. Now, I believe him. The reason why I say I believe him is because during the AJ Warren, you know, situation, it was always Eddie Hearn putting in the offers. It was always other promoters putting in the offers, and when they put in offers, it's not always great. It's not always glamorous. So I do believe that what Jake Paul is saying, that he's not heard from them, and they didn't really deny it. You know, Jake Paul said shortly afterwards, fumbles and fake. I think that's an FUC case. They are okay. So fumbles and fake, you know, they are okay. Which I understand the way he's feeling, and you know, he's justified in that sense. But you know, it's a bit mad. It's mad how we're resorting to Twitter for fight negotiations. You know how crazy that is. Anyway, Frank Warren, or Team Frank Warren, says, because Frank Warren, I doubt he knows how to use Twitter, okay, so it's probably the admin guy saying no fumbles and fakes here. We spoke to your manager last weekend. Tommy wants it, we want it, do you want it? Let's make the fight happen. I wouldn't say do you want it, because it wasn't Jake Paul that pulled out of the fight. It wasn't really Jake Paul that was sitting there waiting for an offer to come through. It was actually the other way around. And so based on that, it appears that I think that Jake Paul wanted that fight, and for some for one reason or another, Tommy and his team had pulled out one due to an injury, but there was also some stumbling blocks earlier on as a result of the negotiations and etc. So yeah, it's a bit mad. But overall, do I want to see that fight in 2022? I'm gonna be speaking about that. Listen, there'll be a video towards the back end of the year, okay, on sort of a wish list for 2022. Yeah, comment below what you guys want in 2022, because like I'm gonna do a video on it, okay, a little sort of my wishes, okay, make it a New Year's resolution, boxing edition, okay. But yeah, that's with regards to Jake Paul. Hopefully Tommy, Jake Paul don't need Tommy. Tommy needs Jake Paul. So Tommy needs to get himself together and go back to Frank Warren and say, look, make him and just tell him we want to reschedule. I'm sure his team will be like, all right, cool, no problem. Jake Paul's stock has slightly risen, but it's not drastic, so they can just proceed with the deal that they already had. I don't see why not, especially if you've got a deal printed in front of you. Just blow the dust away and just crack on. I don't see why not. But that's the news in regards to the Jake Paul and Tommy Fury scenario, okay. Moving swiftly on, we have some new news that happened literally yesterday as I think I was recording, or whether I was editing yesterday's video. Michael Dickinson will be fighting Virgil Ortiz next. Now, talk about a step up. That's more than a step up. That's like a parachute up. That's like a bungee jump upwards. That isn't just an average step up, okay. I wouldn't even put Michael McKinson in and around the top 15 or something in the world of welterweights. Maybe top 15 at best. But if you like Virgil Ortiz, top 5 best welterweight. So currently, and he's one of the most dangerous young fighters that there is, to be fair, across most weight classes. So yeah, Michael McKinson has his work cut out, okay. And I heard that he wanted this fight from last year or something, about 18 months ago. He wanted the likes of Ennis, he wanted the likes of Ortiz. So he is very, very ambitious. And you know what? I had him at a huge underdog against Chris Kongo, and he blew me away. And I was like, you know what? This guy's the truth. This guy has a lot of skill. He has a lot of ability. The problem is the power factor. Could he hack the Virgil Ortiz power? Okay, yeah, not a lot of people could, to be fair, but is he going to be one of the very few that can hack that? Not even the power of the 1-2s, the power of just single jabs. That if he can hack that, yeah, there is a way he can win. He's not the biggest power puncher. I think he's got like 21 wins, or 20 or 21 wins with 2 KOs. So yeah, he doesn't pack a lot of dynamite in his glove. So you can understand what he's going to do. He's going to literally jab again. Like literally, that's what he's going to do the whole night. He's going to jab, not like that. He's not going to rotate. But you get the gist. He's just going to be jabbing, moving, etc. So for me, if he's competitive, that's a good thing. Because I don't think he'll even be competitive against Virgil Ortiz. Mate, I'm scared for Conor if he faces Virgil Ortiz. Michael McKinson, bruv. Like, he's just got to do what he's got to do, okay? But I admire his balls. I admire his ambition. We should have more boxers like him, to be fair, who are willing to test themselves against the best. And if they open to come up short, it is what it is. But so long as they challenging themselves against the very elite, that's what it's all about, in my opinion. But that's just a little bit of news with regards to the Virgil Ortiz versus McKinson fight. Hopefully, it happens in the UK. Otherwise, I'll still be tuned into that fight either way. But that's just a bit of news on the Virgil Ortiz versus Michael McKinson breaking news that came out yesterday. Another bit of news that came out, I think it was today or yesterday, it was regarding Terri Harper. Okay, Terri Harper has decided that she wants to move up to lightweight. Now, in most scenarios, this won't really make huge news because women boxers go up and down weight classes regularly. So, you know, it's a normal thing. Katie Taylor, I think she's a 2 or 3 weight world champion. Clarissa Shields, she's a multi-weight, you know, undisputed champion. McCaskill, very similar scenario. So female boxers go up and down weight classes, you know, regularly. Oh, I was about to, pause. But they were going up and down the weight classes, you know, as a formality. But this was very important because she's going into a division that's been dominated, really dominated by Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor is on her, I would like to say on her last leg. She's been on the gradual decline, in my opinion, since the Delphi Pursuit fight. And she's, by the looks of it, she's only got a handful of fights left in her. So she wants to fight Amanda Serrano next. Amanda Serrano, imagine, bruv, Eddie Hearn and Jake Paul are co-promoting an event. That is mad. Life works in mysterious ways. A guy who used to work in Disney Channel, he used to do vlogs for fun, is now co-promoting, probably going to be co-promoting an event with one of his main assets and his main stars, and Amanda Serrano, who he's helping to generate more money into, not for herself, but just bring more eyes into female boxing as a whole. Absolutely, you know, incredible with regards to that. So, you know, she's going to be fighting a Katie Taylor, and probably, you know, the winner of that was, you know, one of those two. Hopefully they fight Terry Harper. Terry Harper's last fight was against Alicia Baumgardner. Hopefully I'm saying her name right. Alicia, focus. Anyway, yeah, that was a huge knockout. That was a knockout. And listen, I'm going to listen. The poll that I have is it's on my Twitter, and it's going to be on my Instagram later on in the week, whereby I'm rating all the knockouts of the year, maybe fighters of the year as well. And one of the female fighters that I have is Alicia. I'm just going to say Alicia. Okay, Alicia is one of my nominees for female fighter of the year, and she's also one of my nominees for knockout of the year, because that one, I've probably never ever seen a person knocked out like that, just her body just shut down and still standing, but in the center of the ring. I've probably never ever seen that before prior to that fight. Usually if I see those scenarios, they just manage to just end up on the ropes, or the ropes will keep them up. But this one, nothing was keeping her up. Literally, she was just standing there like stiff. It was a nuts. Like, but where was I? That was a huge loss for Terry Harper. A huge loss for Terry Harper. So Terry Harper's got to go out, you know, hopefully next year, get a good warm-up fight, and then fight the likes of a Katie Taylor, or the winner of Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor. I think, I don't know, this might sound crazy, I think with her being rehydrated, she looked really pale in the last fight, but really rehydrated, I think she could probably win against Katie Taylor. It'll be a tough ask, but I really do think that she could win, because Tasha Jonas, who faced both of them, was very, very close to winning against Terry Harper, probably just about won, but it was very competitive. And then her against Katie Taylor was literally practically almost the same. And I just think Terry Harper a little bit more hydrated, a little bit more fresher, fitter, and Katie Taylor being on the gradual decline. I think this could be a perfect match for Terry Harper, the perfect sort of, you know, flower of circumstances for her to beat Katie Taylor. That's in my opinion, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe. I do hope I see you in the next video, but I'm not holding my breath, because this COVID thing hopefully doesn't get any worse. I think it's getting a bit better for me, but it is what it is. But peace, love and prosperity. I'm gonna see you guys in a bit. Peace.